I'm the Plan's NCO down at Fort Lee Military Working Dog Kennels. Give you a little background on our K9 program, then we're going to go into our demonstration. All of our K9 training, the dog training, the handling training, is based out of Blackland Air Force Base in Texas. That is where the Joint Service Training Center is. We go there, we train all the puppies, breed puppies, train dogs, and train the handlers. We get most of our dogs from Europe. We travel over there on buy trips and we buy dogs from various vendors inside Europe, and then we bring them back to San Antonio, Texas. There, the dogs have 180 days to be trained in either drugs, explosives, and then patrol and obedience. Our handlers all go to class down there as well. They go through an 11-week basic training with the dog to learn how to give all the basic commands and how to work the dog on a very basic level. After their completion of school, they come up to their units and we build upon the basics they learned at Lackland and progress them on to being certified dog handlers. First off, we're gonna have PFC Ames and MWD Mark demonstrate obedience. Obedience is the basis of all we do. Without obedience, we cannot do our job. If the dog does not listen to the handler, we can't get him to work as a team. So Ames is going to show you guys some basic obedience. He's going to do some sits, downs, marching, pretty much our drill and ceremony.
See the short one?
All right, thank you, Ames. Next up, we're going to have Specialist Rustad and Sergeant Atkins, and they're going to show you what everybody wants to see, the bite work. The bite work all stems from obedience. As you will see, the handler has to be able to control the dog in all types of situations. Just because the dog is next to the handler doesn't mean he can just bite whoever he wants. So if the dog is disobedient to the handler, we can't even take him on the road because of liability. I ask please that if you have any dogs off leash, please put them on leash. Please keep a tight hand on the leash. And as well as your small children, please do not let anybody run into the arena.
Oh, this is where they're going to attack? Yeah.
Also, please refrain from yelling or clapping or anything until the handler has the dog on leash again. First thing we're going to show you is what we call the field interview. This is to simulate that the handler doing a traffic stop or working on patrol and just sees some guy that's done anything wrong and needs him to come up and check his ID. As you can tell, the dog is obedient to the handler because she told the dog to sit and stay, and he's not going to attack the guy because the guy did not do anything wrong. The dogs have to be approachable as well as aggressive when they need to be. The next thing we're going to show you is the bite. What we're going to have to do, we're going to have the handler walk in to talk to the handler and say, hey, come back here. The decoy is going to refuse and take off. And none of this hurts the dog. This is all just to simulate a threat of an actual decoy getting bit, because you have a criminal or somebody who's not just going to stand there quiet and not move with a 70-pound dog biting on him. So we have to train the dogs to be able to bite through any kind of physical action that the perpetrator might be putting on the dog.
Yeah, I was going to say that is a doodle dog if I've ever seen
Next, we're going to have the handler and the decoy perform a search. This again goes back to the basis of obedience, whereas the dog needs to stay in the position while the handler goes and checks the bad guy to see if he has any weapons or contraband on him.
She didn't see it, it doesn't count.
And yet again, our dogs are trained to attack with or without command. So if that guy in the middle of the search tries to hurt mom or dad, the dog is trained to re-attack to protect his handler. Next, we're going to demonstrate how to escort the decoy back to a patrol vehicle. The dog is trained to watch the subject, but not attack unless the guy takes off again. Because when we're on our road by ourselves and we detain someone, we have to be able to still perform our jobs as a law enforcement officer and get them back to our patrol car to take them back to the station for processing. The final thing we're going to demonstrate is called a standoff. A lot of times, when you got a bad guy out there, he doesn't think you can release your dog and may try to take off, and then halfway through, change his mind, say, I give up. Our dogs are trained to stop mid-attack based on the decoy's actions. Give up!
Sit! Stop! How amazing is that?
I thank you all for being here today and supporting us. Let's give the handlers a round of applause. If anybody has any further questions on the Military Working Dog Program about what we do or how we train our dogs, we're over here behind the Hanover Hounds. We don't have a tent set up, but we're standing over here to answer anything you may have to ask. Thank you.